Hi there, I'm Noah with the training department. This is the final video in the ERS Routing and Delivery series. ERS Routing and Delivery Part 4, Settings and Extras. So let's take a look at the routing settings. Those are going to be under Admin, General Config, Routing Settings. Now, generally, the top 5 settings on this page are the only ones that I advise you to take a look at before you start building your routes. You'll know if you need to come back here if something doesn't feel right with your other settings. These settings up here, auto load orders per truck, that's just how many orders will fit on an average truck. Now, I know there might be quite a wide variation. You might have a couple of trailers that you pull behind your pickup trucks, and those trailers are kind of small, can only fit, 2 or 3 orders. And then you might have some bigger box trucks that can fit like 8 orders. So if there's a lot of variation, just try to come up with whatever you think is the closest, average number and put that in this field right here. The routing area is going to put up to that many jobs on each truck, so it's going to get you pretty close and you can move jobs around as needed. Preferred departure time is going to be the default time that your drivers leave the warehouse. In the second video where we built the route, we adjusted that departure time. So that's going to be your default departure time and you can adjust it. Delivery earliest departure is going to be the very earliest time that you can choose from that drop-down menu. So you probably don't want it going below 4 or 5 a.m. Delivery window, we adjusted that for, I think, 1 order in our second video, in the video where we built routes. And that, along with the park delivery window, again, that just gives you the flexibility to be up to this many hours early to an event so that you can efficiently deliver your events, sometimes a little bit out of chronological order if that's more efficient for you. The park delivery window is a lot more narrow. It's a much more narrow window of time because, as I've said before, you don't want your equipment sitting unattended at a public park for several hours. Delivery setup time and delivery takedown time are not relevant if you followed the curriculum of the first video because you told the system how many minutes each item needs in order to be set up. So if you have those fields filled out at admin products items, the setup time in minutes and takedown time, then the system is going to look at those fields instead of these global settings. The rest of these settings you probably don't need to take a look at, but feel free to come back here if something doesn't feel quite right to you. If you do make any changes on this page, make sure to come down to the bottom of the page and click Save. So now let's look at custom locations. We're going to find those under Admin, General Config, Locations. So these custom locations are going to be locations that show up anytime you add a custom stop in routing. They're going to show up along with your warehouse in a drop-down list of all the different locations that you can choose from. So if there's a place that you visit regularly, you don't have to manually type out the name of it and put in the address and stuff like that. It's just going to be right there in the list for you. So you can see it's fairly straightforward. You just put the name, any description text that you might want to put up here, put a cost in dollars if it costs you money to visit that place, and of course the rest of these fields are pretty self-explanatory. Let's take a look now at surface load options. Surface load options is the feature that told us that we needed stakes and blowers and an extension cord if the units were being set up on grass, and sandbags and ropes and blowers and an extension cord if it was being set up on concrete or asphalt, etc. So we're going to find that under Admin, Products, Items. And once again, I'm not seeing the field that I need to see. I need to see surface load options. So I'm going to go ahead and customize my view here. Where is surface load options? Here it is. I'm going to remove setup time and takedown time from my view just because they kind of take up a little bit of room. And here we go. So then also I'm going to make a bunch of edits from this page. So spreadsheet mode is the fastest way to do that. And also, like that first video, I'm going to reorder by category, going to make my workflow a little bit more intuitive. So we can see kind of how the entries need to be formatted here. So let's go to Admin, Order Config, Setup Surfaces. I'm going to open this in a separate browser tab. And what we need to do is we need to just make sure that we list out all of these setup surfaces, make sure to match the spelling and the punctuation and capitalization exactly. And so we just need to make sure that we have all those different setup surfaces listed out here. And we have listed out what needs to go out with the unit if it's being set up on that setup surface. Now, you can also do this. If you have one setup surface that is different from all the others, you can list it like I've done up here with grass. And then you can list out all of the other ones just saying all. And just make sure to click save whenever you're done making your edits. So whatever you put in here, most likely the most efficient way to fill these fields out is to just copy and paste whatever you've put in here, and then just paste it into the next field and just adjust the numbers. If it needs a different number of stakes, just change that number. That's probably going to be your fastest way to do that. So just go down the line here and fill out the surface load options field for any unit that needs to be set up with different additional items based on the setup surface. Now, last but not least, let's talk about time-sensitive deliveries. Now, as I explained in the second video where we built the routes, if you've got a party start time and a party end time on your website, which is what we call time span ordering, you already have time-sensitive deliveries. All your deliveries are time-sensitive if you know when your customer's party is starting. You got to have their units set up by the time their party starts. Totally straightforward. So if your folder uses time span ordering, you can skip to the chapter of the video using the timeline below. You can skip to the chapter of the video that is about moving a delivery or pickup from routing. However, some folders don't use time span ordering. Some folders use time slots and other modes of ordering. So let's look at a folder that uses time slots. So I've got 3 time slots, and I'm describing it to my customers. I'm explaining to them at the beginning of the shopping process that we've got 3 time slots, and if those time slots don't accommodate their party, if they have a party happening across 2 time slots or on a different schedule than what's available with the time slots, that they'll have the ability to tell us that later in the ordering process. So then the customer just chooses a date, and they choose the time slot that is closest to what they need. And they get to this page, and there is this order option question right here that just reiterates what we mentioned earlier, that we have the time slots, but if you need something outside of those time slots, then just let us know here. So this is an important feature for people who are using time slots and other modes of ordering besides time span ordering. This order option is called time-sensitive delivery. So let's take a quick look at it, actually. So the order option is going to be found here under Admin, Order Config, Order Options. And the way that this feature works is you want to make sure that the name of the order option has the word sensitive in it. And then any of the answers that you want to trigger a time-sensitive delivery should either have the word yes or sensitive in the answer. So if the customer chooses any of these bottom 6 choices, it's going to trigger a time-sensitive delivery for them. And we'll see what that means in terms of how it looks in the routing area, how the routing area tells you that this is a time-sensitive delivery. We'll see that later in this video. So the best thing that you can do to give yourself a good workflow is anytime you see an order come in where the customer has requested a time-sensitive delivery, immediately go into that order and adjust the timing on the order so that when you open up the route is going to operate with the correct time frame. It's going to route you to get to that event within the time frame that you've adjusted according to the customer's preferences. Now that said, the routing area itself actually tells us at a glance whether a delivery is time-sensitive or not. So it's not the end of the world if we miss an order that comes in with a time-sensitive delivery and we don't do the adjustment before we go to run the route. When we open up that route, we're going to see that in there, and we'll double check to see if it's already been adjusted, and if it hasn't, then we'll just adjust it then. We'll take a look at all this later in the video. So we have a date that has some orders in it that I want to route in this folder. Now, this view, the events list view, is normally my favorite view, but in this particular case, I want to use a different view because some of the other views allow you to see order option answers from this screen. So I'm going to use summary of events because it allows me to expand and see the order option answers. Nope, this one is good. This one is good. Okay, no, this one is time sensitive. So their party is from 11 to 3. So I need to click into the cart and change the time frame on this order. You can change the time frame on an order by clicking here, and then you can change the delivery schedule for an order by clicking here. Now, what's the difference? Either way, you're changing the delivery schedule because if you change the time of the order, that's going to change when the delivery has to happen, of course. But when you change the timing of the order, it can affect pricing. When you change just the delivery schedule, it does not affect pricing. So I could change a delivery schedule to give somebody a unit for an entire week, but if I only wanted to charge them for, if they originally chose just one day, and that's all I wanted to charge them for, then I would do this. Now in this case, I'm actually going to just go ahead and change the time of the order itself. And the reason why is because their party is from 11 to 3. It's still just 4 hours, so it won't change the price at all. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to do that. Now, I can't do it from here, can I? All I've got here is my time slots. Haha, I can do it from here. That's when you click on Expand Time Selector. That's going to open up a drop-down menu that's going to let you choose any hour of the day, midnight to midnight, so you can schedule things outside of your normal hours of operation. All right, now with changing the time on an order, as soon as you change it in that interface, it's done. It's already set. I don't have to submit this anywhere. In a real life scenario, I might go into the pay screen and submit without payment and send the customer an updated receipt that reflects their new event time. Maybe I might call the customer first and just say, I'm updating your event time according to your instructions, and I'm going to go ahead and send you an updated receipt that reflects the new time. So now we've done all that, let's go back into the route and take a look at how the time-sensitive delivery order option is going to help us. So we can see that what it does is it puts a clock icon in the upper right-hand corner of any event that is time-sensitive. So that's helpful because it tells us at a glance which ones are time sensitive. Now, this one right here, we know that we just adjusted it a couple minutes ago. But basically what you want to do is you want to click into each time sensitive order and just double check that the timing on the order has been adjusted. Again, we know that we've already adjusted this one because we just did it a couple minutes ago, but it's always good to double check. And yeah, we can confirm that it's been adjusted because we see a time frame on here that doesn't correspond to one of our normal time slots. But we see another one down here that I don't remember. So when I click into that one, I can see that, yep, I must have just missed this one because we can see the customer told us that they'd like an overnight order, but it still says 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here in the delivery. So since we're clicked into the delivery, it's a simple matter finding that pickup, right? We just navigate down the line in the route until we find the corresponding pickup, and we know it's going to be highlighted because we're clicked into the corresponding delivery. So it's real simple. We just go ahead and click into there and then click on here to move the delivery date. Then we choose the date that we want, we submit, and bada bing. And that's going to reload the route, and we're good to go. So when I close the route and refresh this page, I see that we now have a pickup on the 28th. And if I click into that date, I can see that the pickup is scheduled for 9 a.m. Now, if I wanted to change that to 11 a.m., then it's just a simple matter of going back into the scheduling area and finding the order and doing the same thing that we did to adjust the other order. We just use that set delivery button and then use the expand menu to choose 11 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. Now that 9 a.m. default pickup time comes from a setting, so that can be adjusted. And that setting is found at Admin, General Config, Routing Settings, Default Pickup Time when moving. Hi all, I spaced an important feature while I was making this video. My bad. I forgot my brain medication this morning. I'm on the list for a brain transplant, but they haven't called me yet. It's a pretty long list. Apparently a lot of people need a new brain. Your drivers can use the driver app to mark orders delivered or picked up, and that works with a reminder, and that will create a green checkbox for a delivery and a red checkbox for a pickup here in the routing area. So let's take a look at where those checkboxes come from. We're going to go to Admin, Order Config, Reminders. And basically, you just have to have a reminder in here, and that reminder has to have the word deliver or delivery or delivered. And you want to put the reminder in the checklist group, and you want to choose green as the color for that reminder. And then for the picked up checkbox, you want to have the word pickup or pick up or picked up in the name of the reminder. And again, you want it in the checklist group, and you want to choose red as the color for this reminder. So if you want your drivers to mark their orders delivered and picked up as they do their routes, and on the day of the route, you want to monitor their work, you can just refresh this screen from time to time. And as they mark orders delivered and or picked up, you'll start to see those checkboxes in here. So that about does it for this tutorial. I hope this was helpful. As always, any questions that you have, you are more than welcome to reach out to the tech support department. They're happy to help with it. If you're still with the customer success department, you can reach out to them. Either way, you're going to reach them at 505-435-9731, option 1. If you're with tech support, you can reach them via email at support@eventrentalsystems.com. If you're with customer success, you can reach them via email at success@eventrentalsystems.com. And you can always use the little chat bubble in the lower right-hand corner of your control panel to chat with the tech support department. So again, that does it for this tutorial. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.